It's a beautiful day in the Palmetto State of South Carolina in Orangeburg as South Carolina State welcomes Delaware State in some spring MEAC football. Welcome to ESPN College Football presented by McDonald's. With the former great Georgia quarterback DJ Shockley, I'm Taylor Zarzer. Shock, how about this? State's Jared Lewis.
Yeah, Jared Lewis is going to be a fun guy to watch today. He started actually in high school where he threw for over 7,600 yards and 66 touchdowns. This guy can sling the football around. The numbers don't say it from 2 weeks ago, but this guy has the ability to do it. He's got to do it with his arms and his legs today to get going.
Helped them in the comeback victory over Howard 2 weeks ago. Meanwhile, for South Carolina State, it's this man, Tyrese Nick. He'll line up all over the football field, Shock.
Yeah, you're looking for versatility. Tyrese Nick is your guy. You're going to find him all over the field today. He may not even coming off the field. He started receiver today, but expect him in the backfield. Expect him catching the football all over the place. Tyrese Nick will be the utility guy today for South Carolina State.
And we'll see him returning a kick here in just a second as South Carolina State will get it first. They lead the series 30-17 and have won the last four. This is the 48th meeting between the Bulldogs and the Hornets. There's the legend, Coach Buddy Pugh, in his 19th season. Second of 4 games scheduled in the spring in this abbreviated 2021 spring season since there was no football in the fall. South Carolina State lost their first game to Alabama A&M. Delaware State victorious in comeback fashion against Howard. You see Rod Milstead, a man that starred for the San Francisco 49ers, the alum for the Hornets, now is the head coach in his 3rd season. Jose Romo Martinez. Make that Jake Burdell, actually the kickoff specialist, will kick it deep to South Carolina State. Rakeem White and Tyrese Nick are back deep. 70 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, just a perfect day in Orangeburg. And Burdell's kick goes over Nick's head. And South Carolina State will start at the 25-yard line. So, Shock, we saw Corey Fields and Tyrese Nick both at quarterback in their first game. As we said, Nick will line up everywhere. Fields is the more traditional quarterback.
Yeah, he is, but he's a dynamic player in his own right. And the one thing that Coach Pugh said he wanted him to do better in this ballgame is take care of the football. You see the 2 interceptions that he threw a couple weeks ago. They want to see him take care of the football a little bit better. But this guy is absolute talented at that position and expect him to play a lot better today.
Fields, a redshirt sophomore from Hollywood, South Carolina. Under center. And on the first play, it's a handoff straight up the gut for 5 yards. As it's Kendrell Flowers who gets the first carry. The Wake Forest transfer went over 100 yards rushing in the first game.
Yeah, one guy who Coach Pugh actually kind of pointed out was he didn't expect big things from him coming into the season, but when he stepped onto the scene, ran hard, ran physical, expect to see the ball in his hands a lot today.
Fields now in shotgun here on a 2nd and 5. Flowers again met after a minimal pickup. It'll be 3rd and short. You see a couple of Hornets hats meeting Flowers there right at the pursuit. Romel Harris Freeman, the former walk-on, comes up from his defensive back spot. 3rd and 4.
Yeah, also saw Anquan Kinsey come in there and fill that gap here. But this is where you want to be with South Carolina State. 3rd and 2, you're not a 3rd and long situation. You can still keep the ball in the hands of the quarterback, hand it off, throw it. A lot of opportunities here.
Throwing on 3rd and 2, and it's a good one. It's a first down to Shaquan Davis. The redshirt sophomore from Summerville, South Carolina, moves the chains. Had a good game last week. 2 catches for 51 yards.
Yeah, here's something to watch here. You see Shaquan Davis here, runs another one, a little short little hitch route, does a good job of coming out of it. A nice catchable football from Corey Fields, and that's what 3rd and 2 does. allows you to have everything in your offense to let the football go, and Shaquan Davis picks up the first down, and nothing like moving the chains on that first particular drive.
Flowers, patient running, and he gets past the 45-yard line. Shocked. The big issue for South Carolina State in their first game, the loss to Alabama A&M, was protecting the football. Fields turned it over twice and also was sacked 3 times.
Yeah, and that's one thing that hurt him. I mean, he ran the football really well, but I think he had 19 yards in sack yards in that ball game, and a lot of negative yardage plays too as well for the South Carolina State offense. But you see early in this ball game, establishing the run game, trying to control the line of scrimmage, and they're doing that. Little penetration on that last play, but like you mentioned, the patience and visions of Flowers helped them pick up 5 yards on first down, which was really crucial.
Fake to Flowers, trying to roll out, throwing on the move. It's incomplete. Great pursuit in the backfield for Delaware State. It's 3rd and 5.
Yeah, Brooks Parker, number 55, off the end for Delaware State, came right up the corner and put a lot of pressure on Corey Fields here. Watch him get upfield here. Doesn't go for the fake and forces that football out of the hands a little bit sooner than Corey probably wanted to throw the football, but a good job of putting the pressure on him early.
Second team all MEAC player, Parker is. Bulldogs were just 2 of 12 on 3rd down last game against Alabama A&M. Already 2 for 2 on this drive as the catch is made there by Cam Johnson, the local product from Orangeburg. It's first down.
This is a nice job. Watch Corey stand in the pocket here. He's on rhythm. Look, 1, 2, 3, the ball's out. No wasted motion. The football is on his receiver on time, and now you move the chains again. Corey's looked good in these first couple throws throwing the football. If he continues that, this offense will be tough to stop.
15-yard pickup on that play. Now in a little sweep motion, it's Alex James, graduate transfer from Albany State. Had their only touchdown last week. Doesn't get much there.
Yeah, I tell you, one thing about this South Carolina State offense, they play a bunch of running backs. They had 5 different running backs who ran the football in their game a couple weeks ago versus Alabama A&M. So this is a very deep crew, and they're going to run it hard. They 4.6 yards of carry in that ball game. They're going to be tough to stop if they're able to run the football on 1st and 2nd down.
2nd and 10 from the Hornets 44. Back to pass, down the field, throwing the deep ball and overshooting everybody, but a flag comes in. Rodriguez Thomas might have been prevented from getting to that football. It was Harris Freeman in coverage.
Yeah, it may got a little tug. They try to take a deep shot down the field on a post here. Yeah, you see the holding call there on Harris Freeman.
Holding, defense, number 4. 10 yards from the previous spot, automatic first down.
You see Robert Frazier and his crew today.
He's trying to catch him on his deep post down the field here. And look at Corey. He's going through his progressions. Knows he has no safety deep and tries to throw it over the top. And there probably was a slight little tug there as he was trying to come across him. Really good drive going so far for South Carolina State.
They're at the Hornets 34. James in the backfield and already a whistle.
Five-yard penalty, still first down.
It's Chris Simon who's starting at right tackle today. They've shifted some of their offensive linemen with Tyson Gray playing left tackle. Last week he was at right tackle, and Simon, who backed him up last week, gets the start today.
Yeah, another thing about this offensive line, they got 2 true freshmen starting up front, so it's going to be interesting to see how they hold up versus Delaware State front, who likes to get after you. But Nick Tosti and Eric Brown are 2 freshmen starting on that offensive line for South Carolina State.
At left guard and center. Running behind him is James, and he's got wide open space. Gets inside the 25 before he's tripped up. Nice gain for the graduate player originally from Florence, South Carolina.
They did a nice job there just trapping that defensive tackle, and it created a huge void for Alex Jaden to run through. and they pick up all the lost yardage they got there plus some and pick up another first down. They pretty much have everything they wanted on this first drive, throwing and running.
Pickup of 16 yards. Now Fields throws. Quick pass to Davis. His second catch, and he's in the red zone.
Another matchup to watch in this game is the receivers for South Carolina State versus the defensive backs of Delaware State. They're a little bit smaller on the back end. 5'9" is Granger, number 25 there. And on the other side, Charles Peeler is 5'8". And these receivers for South Carolina State go 6'5", 6'4", 6'2", 6'3". So that matchup is something to watch. And they're playing a little bit soft coverage right now. That's why they're able to take these little hitches on the outside.
10th play of the drive as the Bulldogs are in the red zone. And DJ, this is where they struggled against Alabama A&M. 0 for 2. Didn't score any points in the red zone in that game. Fields has plenty of time to the end zone and overshoots Nick. It's third down.
Yeah, this is the spot in the field where you got to get points. When you go down on this first drive and you go get points, puts a lot of pressure on the opposing team's offense to go back and kind of respond. But you're still in a good spot. You're 3rd and 5 here. You've been in third and manageable situations throughout this first drive. You find a way to pick this up. Now your offense continues to drive, and everything is at the disposal for offensive coordinator Bennett Swaggart.
Like you said, it's kind of surprising to see when Nick comes off the field. He's not out there on the 3rd and 5. Fields throws underneath. Nice pass down near the 10-yard line where it's caught by Richard Bailey. And it should be enough for the first down. We'll see where this ball is spotted, but a nice catch by Bailey. It is. It's 1st and goal for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, nice job there. A simple out route and delivered an accurate throw was Corey Fields. Can't stress enough how accurate he's been on this drive throwing the football. And now he's able to convert another third down, putting the ball in his hands in those critical spots. Just shows the confidence they have in him.
Slipping in the backfield is Flowers, and he'll lose yardage. 2nd down, never really got established there.
Yeah, Corey Fields is a guy who started this game 4 of 6, and where it started is on the run game. They ran the ball really well on first down, but when they needed to throw, Corey's been really good with it, and like I mentioned, 4 of 6 to start this ball game is really good.
Long first drive of the game.
A lot of soft coverage on the outside for South Carolina State if they want to take it.
Still have 10 seconds on the play clock. Fields looks over at Coach Buddy Pugh. Fakes the handoff, throws, and it's caught inside the 10. Turning and trying to make something is Cam Johnson, but he's collected by a couple of Hornets defenders. It'll be 3rd and goal.
Corey's done a good job throughout this drive of taking care of the football. I mentioned when we started, he had 2 interceptions. Now, this is a critical part in the field. We see Tyrese Nick, a guy who I know they want to get the football to, but he has to make sure he takes care of the football because they got points right now if they want it, but I know they want more, but he has to make sure he takes care of the football here as they play the cat and mouse game going back and forth, trying to get the right look with South Carolina State.
It's the 15th play of the game, DJ, on the opening possession for the Bulldogs. 3rd and goal. Fields throws, bullet to the end zone, and Davis had it in his breadbasket, but a little too strong for him. 4th down.
Oh, Taylor, I wonder if somebody got a hand on it because he threw a rope in there. Look at 2 guys from Delaware State kind of closing in on it. See if anybody gets a hand on it or it's just a drop. Oh, yeah, looks like he got a hand on it. There's Kinsey, the linebacker, gets his left paw on it and kind of knocks it away just a little bit enough away from Shaquan Davis where he's not able to come down with it, but still a 15-play drive to get you some points. That's a good way to start the game.
Yeah, good call by you. Kinsey wearing a cast on the other arm. The field goal from 27 yards by Bredson is no good. 16 plays in a drive that takes 7 minutes, and the Bulldogs get nothing out of it. Delaware State dodges a bullet. Now they get the
straight up. What's your and?
South Carolina State marches down the field. 16 plays, gets inside the 10-yard line, and DJ, they get nothing.
Yeah, that's disappointing there. And if you're Delaware State, how excited are you that you give up 16 plays, they drive the length of the field, and you hold them to 0 points? And you mentioned it going into the red zone, Taylor. South Carolina State struggled in the red zone a couple weeks ago, and now they struggle again, get no points after a really good drive.
Jared Lewis coming out on the field to start the game at quarterback. Tyleek Bethea, who hurt his knee, started the last game. He is available today, but Lewis, though the stats may not look that impressive, DJ, he's the reason they won that football game last time out.
Oh, absolutely. He is a threat with his arm and his legs. Didn't show it a couple weeks ago, but he's absolutely a threat with the ball in his hands.
Lewis hands to Wade Inge, and Inge is going to lose yardage on the first play of the game as big Shaheen Halterlinger was there to make the tackle.
Yeah, look at this, getting off the edge. You have one guy for the running back, and you bring a corner blitz off that side, and Jacoby Durant for the quarterback. Just a well-disguised blitz there, and you lose a yard on first down. Nice call by South Carolina State to start the game on defense.
Redshirt sophomore from Baltimore, Maryland. From 2nd and 11, loves to do this, take off when he doesn't see 5-yard line, so he gets something positive out of that play. It'll be 3rd down.
Yeah, this is a defense that gave up 4 touchdown passes to Alabama A&M, so they're looking to have a better outcome than it did the last game, and keeping the ball in the hands of the quarterback, forcing him to run it and then corral and go to the football is one thing that they have stressed all week long. And nice job of pursuing to the football.
See if Lewis takes off again on a 3rd and 5 as Bulldogs, at least initially, are showing some pressure. Lewis stands tall, throws a strike, and it's deflected and intercepted into the hands of Jalen Barr, and Barr returns it to the Hornets' 25-yard line.
And this is a well-thrown football by Jared Lewis. This ball has to be caught. They bring the blitz. He throws from where the blitz is coming from. The ball is right on the arms, and he just deflects it, and now in the hands of Barr. Just a really great job of South Carolina State being in position for it, but that is absolutely a ball that Bowman has to come down with and help his quarterback out. That is not on the quarterback, Jared Lewis, there.
Well, David Bowman had it right in his arms and slips out of there, and Barr gets the interception and now gets to wear the belt on his shoulder.
Tell you, I don't like to talk bad about QBs, so that absolutely was not the QB's fault there.
Yeah, it takes a lot for you to say that, my friend. Fields now gets another chance and gives it to Nick. Out in open space. This is where he's dangerous. 1st down, Bulldogs.
And you can see why we want to talk about him in the open. Watch what happens out here. He gets a good block from his fellow receiver. Does a good job of getting him upfield. Now look at the ability to make guys miss in small spaces. This is what Tyrese Nick gives you when the ball's in his hands. They didn't get a chance to give him the football in that first drive. They throw him a little bubble screen, and you see he picks up positive yards when he touches it.
14-yard completion down to the 11. Fields, middle of the field. And Charles Peeler is letting Nick know about it. 2nd down.
Yeah, nice job by Peeler. They're doing a good job of staying on the hip pocket there, trying to hit him on this little inside seam here. Ball's a little bit on that backside shoulder, which allows Peeler to knock that football away. If he throws it upfield, may have a better chance, or it can be pass interference for Peeler going in through him. But nice job of knocking that football away.
Peeler, the Iowa State transfer. Now 2nd and 10. Bulldogs got it down to this position on their first drive and got nothing. 0 for 3 in the red zone in this abbreviated season. This one caught inside the 6, down near the goal line, and marked down inside the 1 is Cameron Johnson. He thought he got in.
Oh, I thought he got in too, because I thought he was laying on the defender here. Nice job of making a guy miss. Simple, quick hitch, off coverage. And watch here as he goes to the ground. Does he stay on top of the defender? Oh, he absolutely looks like he rolls in. That looks like a touchdown there. Nice job of effort from Kinsey to get in there, but he lays on the defender and rolls over into the end zone. That should be touchdown.
Already the 3rd catch for Johnson. And they are taking another look at this before they're going to let them run this play, and they'll reset the play clock, I'm sure.
And here's Cameron Johns here, who started the game. He's got 3 catches for 27 yards in the ball game. But I don't see any part of his body that touches down, especially not the 1-yard line. Look at his feet, his shoulders, everything is on the defender. Nice shot from my camera guys there to get that, but that is absolutely a touchdown in my book.
Johnson from Orangeburg, South Carolina, originally played for Georgia State before transferring back home and playing for the Bulldogs. You see Coach Pugh waiting on the official review here. And it looks like the call is going to stand. First and goal inside the 1. Flowers gets a chance, and he won't get in. He's short.
Man, if Delaware State can find a way to get a stop here, you're talking about one of the biggest break already in the ball game. But inside the 1-yard line, you have to be able to push this ball into the end zone, run the football. You got to show the physicality up front from your offensive line.
Flowers already with 5 carries in the game. See if he gets a 6th here from the 1-yard line. Brooks Parker kept him out on that last play. Flowers again. Touchdown Bulldogs.
Nice job of capitalizing on the turnover, going to get points. The first drive wasn't what you wanted, but nothing but a power downhill, pulling the guard, and look at the little small hole inside the 1-yard line. That's all you need. And Flowers, with his 5'11", 214-pound frame, gets him in the end zone.
South Carolina State has already run 19 plays in this game. And they finally pay it off, and the extra point by Bredson is good. Good start by the Bulldogs at home in Orangeburg. They lead the Hornets 7-0 in this March version of MEAC.
Big Mac, go play with your extra toy bun. The adults are getting meaty.
The Big Hearty, part of the buy one, get one for just $1 deal. Feed your happy.
That's the head coach at Delaware State, Rod Milstead, who was a freak of a football player, not only for the Hornets, but also at the highest level. NFL player for 9 seasons, won a ring with the San Francisco 49ers, also played for the Cowboys and the Browns as well. One of the best offensive linemen ever in MEAC history, DJ.
No doubt. I asked him that you have to remind his players how good he was. He said, nah, they know me. They know what I did.
From the goal line. Back out near past the 20 goes Michael Chris Ike. Some more on Milstead. Old number 63 for the Hornets in the 80s. He's an all MEAC player. And then drafted by the San Francisco 49ers.
Man, look like a mean, tough guy right there. I wouldn't mind that guy blocking for me during my day. Absolutely was a stud offensive lineman, played guard. Now he comes back and wants to get these kids moving in the right track and wants to build Delaware State and these young men up. So big props to him.
Unfortunate interception for Delaware State on the first drive, and like DJ said, it wasn't on Jared Lewis. This is, though, delay of game cost him 5 yards.
Yeah, definitely not something you want to have happen to your offense, especially as you start this drive off. Can't be behind the chains versus a defense that's kind of feeling good about their stuff after getting a turnover.
Lewis with the handoff past the 20, up near the 27-yard line goes Thomas Bertrand Houdon, the redshirt sophomore from Quebec, one of 4 Hornets from Canada.
Yeah, one thing he does, he stays behind his pads, he runs downhill.
Going quickly to the sideline, incomplete.
Yeah, just doesn't get that foot in. Had what they wanted, had him open on a corner route. I thought Jerry Lewis sailed it just a little bit. If he puts it on the line, he maybe catches that and has a chance to stay in bounds here. We see the ball sail just a little bit, and that right foot gets out of bounds there. It would have been a great catch. He was able to get that 1 foot down.
It's Kevin Meddy switching numbers from 87 to 18 for the Hornets today. It's 3rd and 4.
Lots of tight coverage on the outside for South Carolina State. They're really threatening these receivers to win.
Lewis throws to the sideline over the head of Trey Gross. That's another 3 and out for the Hornets.
That's one guy they may not want to try is Jacoby Durant over there, who 3 interceptions to start this season. Coach calls him one of the more special players they have, and is a true NFL talent. And they're using the hip pocket of the receiver there.
Jose Romo Martinez, who's the kicker and the punter, is a preseason all-MEAC player. Coach Milstead thinks he's got a chance to play at the next level as a punter. Kick it deep to Tyrese Nick. Romo Martinez with a really good boot inside the 20. And Nick, instead of picking it up, will let it roll dead at the 14-yard line. That's a 58-yard punt by Romo Martinez. Bulldogs with the lead. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by McDonald's with DJ Shockley. I'm Taylor Zarzer. It's 7-0 in favor of South Carolina State. Kendrell Flowers with the only touchdown of the game, Shock. Hornets could be down by even more than that. Dodged a bullet on the first drive. Bulldogs got inside the Hornets' 10-yard line and missed the field goal.
Yeah, went 16 plays on that opening drive. Jerry Lewis played pretty well to start that game, and now you got South Carolina State driving, wants to get it going again.
Corey Fields throws another deep ball into coverage, and he's lucky that one was not picked off by Jawayne Granger. He was the closest man to it. 2nd down.
South Carolina State coming out trying to take a shot here on 1st down. I actually like the call because they've been running the football to start the game, but Corey Fields is starting the game really well. First appearance out, he had 2 interceptions. The one thing you want to do is take care of the football, but he started the game 7 of 11 for 61 yards. He's hit 4 different receivers in this ball game. And Johnson has been Cameron Johnson, number 18, has been his primary receiver with 3 catches for 27 yards here in the first quarter.
If you miss any part of this game, you can catch it Monday night in its entirety at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPNU. 1st down and 15, and it's Alex James hitting the hole hard and running into traffic at the 10-yard line. It'll be 2nd down.
South Carolina State, we talked about earlier in the ball game, have 2 true freshmen up front. You see the defensive line for Delaware State, Carrington Jones, a guy who moved inside to nose guard because Corey St. John is out at a ruptured Achilles, so he's moved inside to kind of strengthen the inside of that defense, where Coach says that has been their strength throughout the years.
2-yard pickup for James. 2nd down and 13 for the Bulldogs. Up 7-0 in the 2nd game of this abbreviated MEAC schedule. Nick makes the catch up near the 14-yard line. It'll be 3rd and long from there. Messias Guthrie with a nice tackle. Bulldogs, Shock, are going to play 4 games in this spring season. Hornets will get 5 in, and they'll play each other twice. In fact, Coach Rod Milstead of Delaware State said he might save a few things for the 2nd game in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, he wants to make sure he keeps something in the chamber so they got something to prepare for when they see him a few weeks down the road. But I know he's going to pull out a couple tricks in this ball game because I know he wants to win this ball game just as much.
3rd and 10. Fields, the bubble. Caught by James, but he stepped out of bounds. Coach Milstead went over to make sure he saw that spot.
Yeah, he made sure the line judge made sure he knew exactly where he stepped out, because that was going to be a big gain. Broke a tackle, had a chance to pick up the first down. But Coach Milstead right there for the line judge, making sure that he stepped out of bounds. And you see they had it set up pretty well. Just one guy running to the football, breaks the tackle there of Kamari Jackson, but unable to stay inside, stay in bounds.
Fired up to get the football back. Dylan Bredson will punt it away. Another cannon of a punt. Back at the 40-yard line is Charles Peeler, and he gets 5 yards after a 45-yard punt. So the Hornets have it back on offense, and while they won their first game of the season in comeback fashion against Howard, Coach Milstead's offense is struggling, DJ. Only 140 yards of total offense in that win versus Howard. In fact, they had 13 negative yardage plays in that game.
Yeah, you see what happens when they get on the road. They haven't really played well on the road. Back in 2019, they were 0-5 in the MEAC on the road. And this is an offense he's expecting a lot more. You mentioned 140 total yards. Both quarterbacks who played 2 weeks ago were 8 of 16. They were turnover free, but the offense absolutely sputtered in that game.
Lewis looking for his first completion. Instead, he'll hand off, and going laterally and getting nothing is Michael Chris Ike. So he was run out of bounds by Chad Gilchrist. It'll be second down. Now Lewis hasn't thrown a completion. He has thrown an interception. It wasn't on him. It bounced off of his receiver, David Bowman, and was picked off by Jalen Barr, which led to a Hornets touchdown, a Bulldogs touchdown.
They started with great field position on this particular drive. Romo changed the field. Now they're able to get the football in almost plus territory here.
Inge gets the corner and gets the first down.
Nice job of Inge turning the corner there. They did a good job of sealing that in, and now they were able to get to the corner on that run, and now they're picking up positive yards, finally getting close to a first down. And you see Coach Milstead there lobbying again for more yardage.
I agree with him as Lewis gets the first down on this play. But Coach Milstead pointed it where I thought Inge went out of bounds. It wasn't spotted there. Now we've got a penalty.
The tackle, number 8,
It's a penalty on the Bulldogs. So it's a first down for the Hornets here at the end of the first quarter.
Illegal substitution, defense number 18. 5-yard penalty in the previous spot. Penalty results in a first down.
End up picking up the first down anyway, but nice job here of getting something going. First down wasn't a really good play. Second down, you picked up some positive yards in the run game, and then you use your quarterback to pick up a first down here as the quarter looks like it's ran out.
South Carolina State threatened twice and scored once. Hornets trying to end a 7-year road losing streak on a beautiful day in Orangeburg.
Feed your happy.
ESPN College Football is presented by McDonald's. We start the second quarter in Orangeburg, South Carolina, with the home team, the Bulldogs, up 7-0 on the Hornets. Beautiful weather today in the Palmetto State. And Delaware State on the march in South Carolina State territory. Trouble with that snap there for Wade Inge, and never could get anything going. It's second down. 2 weeks from now, Delaware State be back on ESPN as they'll be playing Howard in their rematch. They beat them 2 weeks ago in their first game of this abbreviated season. Second down and 11 now for the Hornets from the Bulldogs 41. Trying for his first completion is Lewis, and he's got it inside the 35-yard line to Trey Gross. It's third down.
I think you had to go to head there. You had a negative yardage play on first down. And you saw South Carolina State come with a little blitz, a little pressure. They're blitzing off the edges, trying to keep Jared Lewis inside the pocket here. But nice job of pitch and catch on the outside to give yourself a much easier third down.
Couple 3-and-outs for the Hornets so far on offense. This is the best progress they've had of the game at the Bulldogs 35. Could be 4-down territory. Here's Lewis looking down the field. Wide open receiver inside the 5 to the goal line. Touchdown, Bazette Woodley.
And Bazette is the guy that they have been waiting to come onto the scene. A nice job of Jared Lewis keeping his eyes down the field. And he just runs a little outside release. And you wonder what happened on the outside with the corner. He just lets him go. That's DeJuan Nichols on the outside. He lets him go. You wonder if he's supposed to have safety help over the top. But Jared Lewis doing a good job of keeping his eyes down the field and finds Bazette Woodley for the touchdown. Big-time play.
Woodley, 28 catches and 7 touchdowns last season. And a touchdown here from 35 yards out. Romo Martinez extra point is good, and we're tied. It's 7 apiece with 13:42 to go until halftime. Like DJ said, where's the safety? Coach Milstead's team trying to snap a 33-game road losing streak that dates back to 2014. Last win was against Norfolk State on October 11th of that year. Bazette Woodley getting behind the defensive backs for a 35-yard touchdown will help. And now Jake Burdell will kick off. That ball is a cue ball that lands at the 5, and Nick will pick it up. And he's got nothing. He's down inside the 10 at the 7-yard line.
So what happens when you have a dynamic player like Tyrese Nick, who always thinks he can find a way to make something happen and puts his team behind the 8 ball, like you mentioned there, just a little bit. But this offense has played pretty well. They move the football at times. They've been able to throw it and run it. See if they can get out of the shadow of their own end zone.
Nick stays on the field. Played some quarterback last week. Runs the football on occasions. Already caught passes in this game, and he's lined up in the slot here. On 1st and 10, the handoff. Past the 10 up to the 11-yard line goes Kendall Flowers. 2nd down. You see a quartet of Bulldogs running the football today.
Yeah, this is a Delaware State defensive line that wants to get upfield. They want to create penetration and stop this run game and keep Corey Fields inside the pocket. They've done a good job at times, but there's been some room to run for Kendra Flowers.
2nd and 8 for Fields. Another handoff. This will lose 3, maybe even 4 yards on the play. Great pursuit there by Kevin DeShields.
Yeah, you talk about a guy 6'3", 330 pounds, to almost 350 pounds there, and does a good job of busting through the double team there. And look at the penetration. Look at all the white jerseys that are on the other side of the line of scrimmage and slamming him to the ground is DeShields. He is one guy that Coach Milstead is really excited about to have up front.
And has to rely on him today.
Delaware State, that's their first team timeout of the half. This will also be a media timeout.
Corey St. John, the starting defensive tackle, is out. DeShields making plays in his stead, forcing a
forward with Comcast Business.
Man, it's great to see fans back in the stands, all wearing masks today, but somewhat of a return to normalcy, certainly on the way, just over a year past the mark of when COVID really started in the United States. But just to have college football again, these teams weren't able to play in the fall. Of course, FBS football happened, but FCS football was delayed till the spring. And Delaware State's coach Rod Milstead said, we want to win a ring in the spring. There will be a national championship and a playoff format, DJ, in a couple of months.
Yeah, they're excited to play. He said, yeah, we have been in a position. They said, we can play. We want to do everything possible to play, and here they are.
3rd and 10 for South Carolina State, and it's a safety.
Oh, did
and
they
a
call it
fumble
down?
on the play. Daniel Douglas made the tackle. Is it a safety or is it a touchdown? Okay, so Douglas sacked Fields before the ball came out, the redshirt freshman from Wilmington, Delaware, and that's did Fields still have possession of that, DJ, when Douglas made that tackle?
Yeah, that is close.
We're good.
Yeah, I think his knee might have been down as he was tackling to go into the ground. Watch his knee as he tries to go away. And looks like knee is down there. Looks like right knee is down. He still has the ball, so good call by referees there.
So Douglas, the redshirt freshman, comes on a safety blitz to give Delaware State the lead. There's a difference in 5 points, though, this decision that they're making.
Yeah, and up until that point, South Carolina State was playing pretty well on offense. They had been pretty balanced. They had 11 runs and 14 passes, and they were moving the football, just got behind the chains there in 3rd and 10, and Delaware State was able to come and bring some pressure from a secondary member on Daniel Douglas, and he ran down Fields.
Alabama A&M beating South Carolina State in the opener. Bulldogs came out like gangbusters. Got inside the 10, missed a field goal, got an interception, scored a touchdown, but it's been all Hornets since then. And this will be a free kick from the 20-yard line. So the Hornets about to get it back with 12:23 to go in the half. Off of the bounce, a little trouble with it, and Wade Inge couldn't field it, so the Hornets will get it at that mark.
Yeah, pretty good kick. I mean, it forced them to bobble a little bit, and you get it way back at the 25-yard line opposed to having really great field position. You see Jerry Lewis on the day here. Hasn't thrown it all that well, but he hit some big shots here. The big throw down the sideline where he hit Bazette Woolley for the touchdown is where all the yards come from, and the interception wasn't on him as well, so he's played a pretty good ball game to this point.
Yep, last time he threw the football, 35-yard touchdown to Woodley. Takes over at his own 26. Handoff up near the 30. It's a pickup of 4 on the play for Bertrand Houdon.
On the tackle for the Bulldogs, 93, Darrell Brown.
Top rusher for the Hornets 2 years ago, Deej. 3 100-yard performances for him.
Yeah, positive yards on first down. This is what Coach Milstead wants. He wants to stay ahead of these chains so their offense can be as explosive as he wants to be and keep everything at disposal for his QB.
Gets rid of it behind the line of scrimmage. Nice athleticism from Trey Gross. He could have been stopped for a 5-yard loss, and instead he turns it into a 10-yard gain.
Yeah, he uses that big 6'4", 210 frame. But watch this football. Watch he throws this football without even stepping. Throws it out there and gives him a catchable pass, and then the 6'4", 210 frame of Gross makes something happen, makes a couple guys miss. You don't see guys 6'4" have that kind of athleticism all the time, but Trey Gross has all that.
Yeah, Gross plays for the Hornets basketball team, too. MEAC championship game happening this weekend. That's past the 45-yard line on a quarterback keeper by Lewis. He picks up 7. It's 2nd and short.
Yeah, nice job. You got to keep this defense honest. They've run this kind of zone read type of play throughout this ball game already and given it to the back multiple times. Now Lewis actually keeps it and another positive yards on first down that helps his offense.
Second and 3, stepping up, first down, and down at the 46-yard line. Hornets are in now Bulldogs territory. You see our update on the clock, 10:20 and counting now left in the first half, and Delaware State up 9-7.
Really good decision from Jerry Lewis. Wanted to take a shot down the field. Second and 3, you love the play call. Wasn't there. Tucked it away and picked up a first down for his offense.
On the first down, past the 45, banging down to the 44-yard line, goes Bertrand Hudon. Coach Milstead says pound the rock. Offensive line is one he's proud of. His nephew, Dylan Marshall, is the center. And Leaky Sue, the right guard, is the nephew of Coach Milstead's old teammate, Jesse Sapolu. Lewis in trouble. How do you get rid of that? It's over the head of his intended target there.
You see him coaching from the sideline there.
Yeah.
He's coaching, he's kick stepping and everything from that sideline. And you think if anybody is going to be hard on somebody, it's going to be the offensive lineman and Coach Milstead. And Dylan Marshall here played center, but played a little tackle. And watch Coach Milstead here get in position. A little throwback. Watch his kick step. Yeah, nice. He still got it.
3rd and 8 for Lewis. Wants to run, trying to get out of there, and down he goes back near midfield. Lucky to hold on to that football, too. It's 4th down.
Nice job on the back end. These defensive backs did a good job of just plastering to the receivers. There was really nowhere for them to go to football. They went man coverage and forced Lewis to hold on to it, and then the pocket just collapsed on him and nowhere to run, nowhere to throw the football. Nice job from South Carolina State on that particular 3rd down.
Romo Martinez back on to punt at a 58-yarder his first time and try to pin the Bulldogs deep. He had one that landed inside the 1 against Howard 2 weeks ago. He's lucky to get that one off. It's a directional kick. It's a shorter kick that'll give the Bulldogs the ball near the 20-yard line. Hornets up 2.
For like a week. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's, official breakfast of March Madness.
9-7, Delaware State leads South Carolina State on a beautiful day in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Just a 25-yard punt for Romo Martinez. As you see the way the Bulldogs have outscored the Hornets in the last 4 meetings, hasn't been close.
Wow.
Lead the series 30-17 here in the 48th meeting today. DJ Shockley and Taylor Zarzer with you to broadcast this MEAC football game in March. First of 3 meetings today, Shock, in 2021 for these two teams.
Well, they absolutely gonna know each other, ain't they?
Nice handoff and a first down run for Kendrell Flowers, getting past midfield into Hornets territory. There is a flag down. Appears to be at the end of the play, though, DJ. Check this out.
Yeah, it was a lot of pulling and tugging on the top of that uniform. You wonder if he got in the horse collar area or not.
Personal foul, face mask, offense. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Yards gain will be a first down.
It's a nice run here. Flowers does a good job of, you mentioned it earlier, having good vision and patience. And there's the face mask right there from Flowers. Sometimes you always hear about the defensive guy getting called for, but he absolutely holds on to it and wrangles the defensive back a little bit. Gets a lot of the yards, but it's going to get the calling back.
you can't do the Derrick Henry stiff arm by grabbing the helmet.
Yeah. I mean, 35-yard run, but nobody has the Derrick Henry stiff arm.
Fields takes off and dives up at the 45-yard line.
Fields, the ball carrier.
Pretty rare to see the ball carrier called for a penalty. Larry Zonka used to be called for offensive unnecessary roughness way back in the day for the Dolphins, but that was one for Flowers.
You don't hear too much of that. You see the balanced attack there. This is what they wanted to do. Coach Pugh said we had to be more balanced in this ball game. Running, throwing, they weren't so much of that in their first ball game. More on the ground, but today they've shown the ability to do both.
2nd and 9. He takes off again, and he gets near midfield. It'll be 3rd down for Fields. More of a traditional drop-back passer. He didn't have any yards rushing in the first game against Alabama A&M, but takes off on consecutive plays. Now 3rd down.
I'll tell you what I liked about that play from Fields there is they've been taking that hitch route, taking it, and now you can tell he's seeing the field so much better. He wants to throw that hitch. They collapse on it. He pulls it down and gets positive yards. That's seeing the field and understanding I got to take care of the football. The defense changes from pre-snap to post-snap. Good job of reading the defense there by Corey Fields.
Yeah, and let's see if those linebackers respect Fields' legs on this 3rd and 5. Option, toss, spin, and way short is Alex James. Great pursuit in the backfield there by Asias Guthrie. 4th down.
Yeah, give Guthrie a lot of credit here. He is on the outside blocking versus Shaquan Davis and gets off the block and makes the play here. Watch him get off the block at the top of your screen, keeps contained, and he's all his cavalry to get to him, but a nice job of feeling on the outside from that corner position and coming off of it.
Forces another Bulldogs punt by Dylan Bredson. It's Peeler waiting for it.
Peeler back for the return.
Peeler lets it go over his head into the end zone, and the Hornets will get it at the 20-yard line. Let's take a look at the Box to Row HBCU standings. Both of these teams tied for 7th in the latest rankings. Alabama A&M with that 31-7 win over South Carolina State at the very top.
Yeah, and this is a big time for both these programs. Different approaches from their head coaches about what the spring means to them, but this still is a big ball game. They want to win this ball game, and they're going to see a lot of each other over the next couple of weeks as they head into next season, but both clubs want to put on a good showing here in the spring.
Inge gets a couple. Shock, I'm wondering what this experience would have been like for you had you had to go through a pandemic and not be able to play fall football. I mean, that is just the hardest thing in the world for these kids to have to endure not playing any football for 15 months.
Yeah, that's the tough part is you go to college and you want to play in these big-time games and you know you're going to play some football in the fall and you don't get a chance to. And as Jerry Lewis tries to drop it off there, but you don't get a chance to play in the fall and you got to wait and you're watching everybody else play. It's tough. You work so hard in the offseason. You have all these different things going on. And you're not able to play it now. 15 months later, you get a chance to play. I think these kids are just excited to play any kind of football. Whether if you're playing four or 5 games, they still want to play, have the opportunity to play major college football. And whether you get a chance in the spring or the fall, I think they're taking advantage of it.
Lewis made something out of nothing, getting it off to Inge there. 3rd and 8. Lewis throws underneath. It's caught, but immediately tackled is Miles Beverly. Nice open field tackle there by Chris Simmons, 4th down.
Yeah, that was a tough drive there for Delaware State. A lot of things happened. Negative yardage plays. This pocket starting to collapse on Jared Lewis here, looking for somewhere to go with the football. And South Carolina State was in the zone, and Chris Simmons was just sitting there waiting on a crossing route and makes a good open field tackle.
Romo Martinez had a strange punt last time. Unlike him to have a 24-yard punt, he's got a cannon for a leg, and he almost shanked it. This is more like him. A bomb. Look at this.
Goodness.
Inside the 20, out of bounds near the 18-yard line. So a 58 and a 57-yard punt to go with a 24-yarder. Take a look at South Carolina State's schedule. This is in the fall, DJ. They have a couple games in the spring. After Clemson plays your Georgia Bulldogs, Tigers go back to Death Valley to play the South Carolina State Bulldogs.
Yeah, they're absolutely going to be overlooking that first Bulldog team to get here. So hopefully that happens for Clemson. And, yeah, it's a really good game. But, hey, South Carolina State is exciting. They get a chance to play one of the premier teams in all the country and see where they stack up. So I know they'd be excited to play in that ball game.
Yeah, that's incomplete. Too far in front of Nick. It's great for Coach Pugh's program to have that opportunity against Dabo and the Clemson Tigers. DJ Uiagalelei is the next man up, right, for Trevor Lawrence.
One more time, Taylor. One more time. Say it one more time.
Uiagalelei.
You see, I just let you have that. I don't want no part of it. I'm just going to call him DJ.
You don't want it.
Yeah,
DJ, right, you know that name.
We got time.
What a strike that is from Fields. Nice ball. His best of the day to Rodriguez Thomas for a first down.
Yeah, nice job. Whenever he is on rhythm and has a chance to let this football go, watch when he hits that back foot and the ball comes out. He throws a pretty good football, and it has a rope on it. He can throw it with the best of them, and they expect him to continue throwing at this kind of pace.
Underneath throw to Davis will yield a couple of yards. It's second down. See if this Bulldogs offense can get back on track. Look good on the first two drives, but they have stalled since.
Yeah, they got all their timeouts left. You got a little bit over 3 minutes. You look for them to put it in the air a little bit. They also broke a long one with Kendra Flowers, so you still got everything at your disposal, but most of it be through the air.
Fields again to the middle of the field, and another good ball to Thomas.
Delaware State's playing a lot of off coverage, a lot of loose zone on the back end, and he places it right behind that linebacker's head. And look at that throw. Hits him right in the face mask. The defensive back would have to go through him to get that football. Well thrown football from Corey Fields.
Guthrie was all over Thomas. Made another good catch. First down for the Bulldogs in Hornets territory. Fields wants to load up again. All the way down there, but incomplete, too far for Davis.
I think he wanted the out route that was going to pick up maybe 5-6 yards, get him out of bounds, and it wasn't there. He wanted to take a shot down the field with his big receiver, Shaquan Davis, and just overthrows him a little bit. But Buddy Pugh, we had a good conversation with him this week, and he talked about what this spring meant to him. And we talked about this, the differences between what the head coaches thought about this spring and what it meant to him. And he talked about, hey, yeah, we want to win ball games, but we want to build a depth. We want to build our team as we head into the fall. But he said, make no bones about it. We absolutely want to win games.
Such a great leader.
Timeout, South Carolina State. That is their first team timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
Coach Pugh has a contagious personality. He was trying to recruit you, DJ, on that call the other day. He can light up a room, and you can understand why he's had so much success. 2 MEAC titles, 4 trips to the NCAA playoffs, and you see the Hall of Famers that have come through the program. Quite possibly the best pass rusher in NFL history, Deacon Jones, Harry Carson, Donnie Shell, Marion Motley. That's a who's who list right there.
Yeah, the first guy at the top of that list, I've had a chance to just be in his presence before, and I made sure I stayed at least 10 feet away from that guy because he is a mammoth of an individual. But you see the amount of star power that's come from this institution, and they continue to put out great players. And you talked about being here for 19th season here for Coach Pugh. I asked him, what keeps you going? Man, he said these kids keep them young. They keep them hip on the trends that are going on around the world. So he said he still loves it and loves to wake up and coach these young guys.
2nd and 10. Trying to elude the sack. Gets out of there. And it's complete down to the 41-yard line. Fields finding Johnson. Clock will continue to run. It'll be 3rd and short.
Unbelievable job there of making one guy miss inside the pocket, and then an unbelievable catch as well on the outside by Johnson. So give those two guys a little credit for it as well. Coach Pugh coached with Lou Holtz. I mean, some of the best to do it.
Yeah, it was over with the Gamecocks before he became the head coach of the Bulldogs. Nice ball to Thomas. First down, Bulldogs inside the 35.
Oh, I think he dropped it.
Oh, it's incomplete. Did he drop it? He did.
Oh. Yeah, that was a perfectly thrown football. Would have been an easy first down. Hits him right in the chest, and you see his head. As soon as that ball hits his hand, he turns his head looking upfield, and he ends up dropping it. It would have been a great conversion there to keep that drive going.
So now 4th and 6.
He's got 4 catches for 31.
And they'll decide to punt. Instead of getting some points out of it, they're forced to punt with 1:58 to go in the half. And this ball way into the end zone from Bretson. So the Hornets get it back at the 20-yard line.
Oh, we got to run into the kicker, or it's 4th and 6. So
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker.
Wow,
Defense,
how about
92. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
We've
the
had
Hornets get a huge break, DJ, and then they give it right back.
Oh, yeah, you just can't undercut him. Going in for the block, they always teach you got to go across the face or run by him, and you end up going underneath the punter's leg. That'll hurt you every time, and you see the despair on the face of Coach Milstead there as his defense got him off the field. Now you give him 15 yards and keep the drive going.
So Thomas gets a reprieve after the drop, and his team gets a fresh set of downs inside the 28-yard line. Throw to Nick. Breaking tackles, trying to get to the sideline. He can't. He stays in bounds. Might have gotten a yard on the play. You see on the play, Jawayne Granger, who laid the lumber, had his helmet come off.
Yeah, nice job here. They bring him in motion, and this is just an easy way, like a toss sweep thrown out here to Nick, and taking on the defender, taking on the receiver, as well as keeping contained on the outside and not giving up anything. Nice job on the play by Granger.
Bulldogs in no hurry, want to end the half with the football here. Still have 2 timeouts. Fields throws the deep ball over the head of Davis. Looked like some contact there, but no call.
Looked like Davis had a step on him, too.
Oh, there's the flag.
Might be a little grab there right at the end, because he absolutely had a step or two on him.
Interference. Defense, number 46. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot.
Jeffrey Broughton.
2 big penalties. You see the grab there, holding on to him right there. Have to let him go. He was holding on to him for most of the time, and that back umpire was sitting right there looking at it. You can see the tug of the jersey. Anytime you see that jersey pull, they're probably going to call that. And 2 big penalties here keep these drive going for South Carolina State.
Bulldogs now at the 12-yard line.
And you saw what happened, Taylor. Soon as they took Jawayne Granger out the game because his helmet went off, they went right after his replacement, Jeffrey Broughton.
Here's the handoff to James inside the 5.
Alex James, ball, Delaware. Number 6,
I'm sure South Carolina State would love to just milk all this clock, take it right into halftime, take the points, and go into halftime with the lead.
Down 9-7, gave up a safety a couple of drives ago. James trying to get the lead back to the end zone. I think the ground caused that fumble. Should be a touchdown. It is.
The ruling on the field is a touchdown.
I think James saw that end zone so much he was trying to get there, was stumbling trying to get in there, but broke the plane and was able to get in there. And nice job there of capitalizing off the 2 big penalties from Delaware State. The roughing the punter, and then as well as the pass interference. 30 yards worth of penalties on that drive to help South Carolina State get into the end zone.
Just waiting upstairs to get official confirmation here. Make sure his knee wasn't down, and you clearly see that the ground is what sprung that football out.
Well, here's the thing now. If, depends on where that football was, because his knee looked like it was down before it got into the end zone.
The field is a touchdown. The previous play is under review.
But where was the football when I think it was his left knee that hit the ground? I know he's trying to reach out for it, but that knee did touch down. Watch that knee here, that left knee, but where's the ball?
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to tell from that angle. But that left knee is down. Looks like probably the 1 yard line. But I don't know if the ball crossed the plane.
You felt the page?
Yeah, I think it's clear he's short there, DJ, which would put him down inside the 1.
Okay.
As we know, what was the call on the field? The call on the field was touchdown.
I don't know that they have enough, like you said, from that angle to overturn it.
What's the clock?
Would need something maybe from an end zone look. That other view we had looked to be maybe enough to change the call.
Yeah, I think they're going to bring it back. That left knee was down. Ball hadn't crossed the plane yet. Looks like South Carolina State will have to try it again.
Yeah, that's the view there.
Yeah, he looks like he's short.
After further review,
if I'm reading lips correctly, I think you said down at the 1 yard line.
That's what I got too, Taylor. That's what I got. You read lips really well.
His knee was down on the 3. The ball was on the 1. 49 seconds to go in the half, and they'll run the clock as soon as they get set.
after further review, the ruling on the field is corrected. Runner's knee was down at the 1 yard line. The player made the line to gain. It will be first down and goal.
Oh, there you go. So it is a first down on the play. Maybe give James another crack at this.
You got to feed him. You got to give it back to him. He's got you down there. Let him finish it on off.
He had their only touchdown last week. Kendall Flowers scored the first for the Bulldogs in the first quarter. Fake it to James. Throw it to the end zone. Incomplete.
He had two
That's
guys
DePrince
wide
Haynes.
open.
Yeah, two guys in the same vicinity, and Haynes couldn't make the catch.
He got pressure in his face as he started to get out to the right side here, but that ball has to be out now. And he lost it just a little bit. If he throws it more on the line, he gives himself a chance. But I don't mind the call on first down. You get a chance. You got two other downs to try to punch this football in. And I expect this football to be turned around and handed off to James.
James, no way. Lit up back near the 5 yard line. Isaiah Williams and company.
Yeah, Isaiah Williams.
South Carolina State.
6'2", 295. Look at the penetration here. He just absolutely goes right through Nick Ticey, the left guard, who's a true freshman. And the redshirt junior wins that battle, and he loses 3 or 4 yards on that play. Delaware State is manning up here on the goal line, trying to keep South Carolina State out of the end zone.
Well, originally a touchdown was called, taken off of the board. And then Yancey Washington was wide open, but DePrince Haynes thought the ball was intended for him. And then Isaiah Williams and Brooks Parker come in. You see some miscues in this game already. Delaware State, with the roughing the kicker, kept the drive alive. And then the holding penalty on Jeffrey Broughton got the Bulldogs down to this position. Hornets have a chance to limit the damage here if they can get off the field on a 3rd and goal.
South Carolina State has dominated this ball game. This is their 43rd play of the game. Delaware State's only ran 22 plays.
One-on-one ball, incomplete. Intended for Davis, but Romel Harris-Freeman says no.
And here's Romel Harris-Freeman. He's 6'4" himself, and they're trying to go up with Shaquan Davis, who's 6'5", so they love that matchup. That is big defensive back on big receiver, and he's unable to come down with it. But what a goal line stop here for Delaware State to not allow South Carolina State to get in the end zone.
Dylan Bredson from 22 yards out, and this one is good. He missed a 27-yarder. It gives the Bulldogs a 10-9 lead with 17 seconds to go in the half.
Probably disappointed with that outcome. You had a chance to put 7 on the board, and you're unable to punch it in from inside the 1-yard line after getting the first down. You lose a couple yards, and you have to settle for a field goal. I'm sure Coach Milstead and his Delaware State defense will be really excited and happy for that stand there.
Yeah, the offense has not done much. You've run half as many plays as South Carolina State and only down 1. Kind of a moral victory, right?
Yeah, absolutely. On the road, we mentioned it earlier. They haven't really played well on the road. Haven't won in almost 7 years on the road. To be in this ball game with how much South Carolina State has dominated it from the offensive side is a win for Delaware State as they head into halftime here with 17 seconds to go.
Savion Wilkerson waiting deep on this kick from Dylan Bredson. Instead, it's a squib. Fielded at the 30. And with 12 seconds to go in the half, the Hornets will try to put something on the board here in the waning moments of the first half in this MEAC spring matchup in March. Daylight savings starts tonight. Set those clocks ahead.
Does that mean it's going to get darker sooner, or it's the opposite? I always forget that.
You get more daylight later in the day.
Okay.
So Mrs. Shockley and family will know you're at the golf course a little later on a Sunday afternoon around 7 o'clock tomorrow.
That'd be awesome.
Handoff to Bertrand Houdon. And that'll be the last play of the first half. Bulldogs up on the Hornets 10-9. Hornets will get the football to start the third quarter. Coach Milstead fired up with his team trying to end that long road losing streak right in this one in Orangeburg, South Carolina.
Major bag alert.
Beautiful day in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Halftime between South Carolina State and Delaware State. ESPN Plus and The Undefeated presents Why Not Us? North Carolina Central Basketball, a new docuseries on the NCCU men's basketball program executive, produced by NBA All-Star Chris Paul and ESPN Stephen A. Smith. NCCU, a small HBCU in Raleigh-Durham, looks to become the first HBCU ever to reach the Sweet 16. Let's take a look.
Grow up in the environment that I grew up in. Everything about it is dysfunctional. That's why it's that environment. That's what made it that environment. I'm dealing with the fact my father not here, my mother dealing with the fact that her man not here anymore, and it's just, we're in the middle of a housing project during the inception of crack cocaine where everything is happening. It's taboo to discuss it within our household, and you know, for years I was fighting for that validation and that acceptance. We possess the strength to fight our way through that and overcome against all odds. But what I have learned in life is that when you come from hell, you're bound to bring some of those demons with you. I decided to start seeking therapy because I knew I was fighting some of those demons. Where we're from, in our culture, therapy is deemed as bad. It's deemed as crazy. It's deemed as something psychiatric. But it's not. It's real comforting. It's real enlightening.
Jody, I have someone here for you.
Hi, Jody.
Hi, Yvonne. Sit wherever you feel like, wherever you're most comfortable. So what brought you in today?
Just need to be able to manage my stress levels and my worries a little better. I just have so much anxiety, so much worry, so many panic attacks. Like, it's important for me to evaluate myself honestly so that I can be a better man, a better husband, a better father, a better coach.
You know, I wanted to get a little bit more into the history as to when you first started noticing that these things started happening.
And that when you work your butt off, you get a reward from it. Your responsibility is to make sure the next class after you is rewarded and in the same fashion and manner that you are rewarded.
Yo, what?
Hey. Find yourselves, young fella.
We actually played an extra game last year just to afford this locker room. We wanted to look as much as possible like a Power 5 big-time program.
We didn't have it in our budget, so I called Louisiana Tech and I asked them, can we come play you in the guarantee game? I need $80,000 for the guarantee game. The locker room actually cost $79,000. So I took that check from the Louisiana Tech game and came back and renovated our locker room for the guys. Yo, real fast. As you can see, you have your lockers. It would probably be nice if you open your lockers.
They win just like those guys do, so they deserve everything everyone else has.
Yo, it's Christmas, yo.
Respect. And now for my next act, I will change the light color.
That joint is elite.
Coach Morton really go out of his way to help us out, even if it's extra gear or a locker room, just to make sure that we feel like anything can happen from here.
For sure, bro.
Yes, sir. Love you, brother.
You can watch the whole season of Why Not Us on ESPN Plus today. Be back in just a moment in Orangeburg, South Carolina.
The Bacon Double Stack is back in the biggie bag for just $5, only at Wendy's.
Wake up with Hardee's. The $3 bacon, egg, and cheese burrito. Fluffy egg, crispy bacon, and melty cheese. All wrapped up in a warm tortilla. The $3 bacon, egg, and cheese burrito. Part of Hardee's 2-3 more breakfast menu. Feed your happy.
It's halftime at Dawson Stadium in Orangeburg, South Carolina, between Delaware State and South Carolina State. With DJ Shockley, I'm Taylor Zarzer. The Undefeated presents Tiger Woods, America's Son. This one-hour documentary examines his complex racial identity and the meaning of his success, including his historic Masters win in 1997. Here's an excerpt.
You are black.
Just unbelievable the impact that man has had. DJ, I mean this with all due respect to Arnold Palmer, Bob Jones, and Jack Nicklaus. No one's impacted the game like Tiger Woods.
Yeah, I mean, I think about so many guys who have had the opportunity to go play golf now because I love Tiger Woods, or I want to play like Tiger Woods, or I want to look like Tiger Woods. He set a absolute great trend in fashion. He set a great trend in playing the game, and I'm a direct result of a guy like Tiger Woods wanting to go out and play like him, and he's done it for numerous years and been consistent at the ultimate top level for a long time.
You already were wearing red and black. Maybe I'll wear some red and black tomorrow for Tiger Woods. Get well, Tiger. I heard Rory say that he thinks Tiger will get out of the hospital very soon. We're all pulling for that to see him again. We look forward to seeing the second half of Delaware State and South Carolina State coming up in just a moment. Stay tuned for that.
It's not just that he's a quitter, it's how he quits. After telling his players the only way he would leave his team at Ole Miss would be in a pine box, Tommy Tuberville quit the next week. Remember the quitter.
The Bacon Double Stack is back in the biggie bag for just $5, only at Wendy's.
South Carolina State leads Delaware State 10-9 at the half in Orangeburg, South Carolina, for a little March MEAC football with DJ Shockley. I'm Taylor Zarzer. DJ, South Carolina State has almost doubled up the Hornets in yards, time of possession, and plays. It's only a one-point game, though.
Yeah, Delaware State's got to be excited. They got to be happy where they are right now because, like you just mentioned, they have dominated that first half, but they're only down one. They got to get some things together on offense because they are struggling to move the football. But if you look at the scoreboard, hey, they're still in this thing. They only got 1 point down, and they got it ready to roll.
Let's take a look at the highlights from the first half between the Hornets and the Bulldogs. Hornets throw an early interception, DJ, and the Bulldogs capitalized.
Yeah, it was good because they just previously before that went 16 plays and got nothing out of it with the missed field goal, but they were able to capitalize and get points and get on the board early.
Then the deep ball down the field, Jared Lewis found a wide open Bizette Woodley to tie the game up at 7. Great defense there by the Hornets.
Yeah, the defense
and
has
then
kind of kept
the
them
safety.
In it. Yeah, their defense has absolutely kept them in it. They've kind of been attacking. They gave up some. They've been bend and break, but they haven't broke all the way. And like you said, there's only a 10-9 score here.
Late field goal by South Carolina State gave them the lead. You see the total yards. Time of possession also dominated by South Carolina State. Almost 20 minutes of the football in the first half and doubled up the Hornets in the amount of plays. Bulldogs and Hornets in the first of 2 spring meetings, third quarter, coming back in Orangeburg in just a moment. McDonald's, MEAC football in March. South Carolina State leading Delaware State 10-9. Coach Milstead's Hornets have lost 33 straight road games. Now, he hasn't been there for all of them, but they haven't won one on the road since October 11th, 2014. Down 1 at the break, and they get the football first in the second half, DJ.
Yeah, this is a critical time here in the ballgame because you haven't really played really good on the offensive side of the ball. Jared Lewis has played well, but they need to put together some drives and get some things going on offense.
And they get a break immediately with the ball going out of bounds, so good field position for Lewis and the Hornets offense. Lewis came off the bench in the first game.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team. Ball will be placed from the 35-yard line. First down.
Tyleek Bethea started the game against Howard, and they trailed 3-2 going into the fourth quarter before 2 touchdowns in that final frame led to a 17-10 victory. Lewis has gone the whole way today.
Yeah, we thought we would possibly see Tyleek Bethea, who in the first game went down with a knee injury, but it's been all Jared Lewis show today, and he's played pretty good, but he needs more out of his quarterback here in the second half if they want to come out here and get the W on the road.
Lewis hands it off on the first play of the second half to Thomas Bertrand Hudon. He plows forward for a handful. Again, only 100 yards of total offense in that first half for Coach Milstead's team, and just ran the football for 48 yards.
Yeah, it's a team that ran it 46 times versus Howard in their opening ball game, and offensive coordinator Steve Alzani said they'll do whatever they need to do to get the win in this ball game as they plow for another first down.
That is Milstead when he played for the 49ers smash mouth football right there.
No doubt.
Bertrand Hudon with the first down.
His last 5.
And Hudon's a guy who's got 3 100-yard games in his last 5 games, so you know he can tote it and be the guy who can pick up the yards for him. So they expect a lot out of him. They're going to need probably a lot of that today if they want to get the win again.
Try the left side, and he doesn't get anything there. It's 2nd down and 10. Bertrand Hudon now has over 35 yards rushing in the game, as you see Chad Gilchrist make the tackle. Clearly trying to get him going.
Yeah, back in 2019, he had a 137-yard game versus Norfolk State, so he's capable.
Trey Gross turns and cuts towards the middle of the field. It'll be 3rd and short.
That's what helps with a good run game is once they start worrying about what's going on inside the box, then you're able to get on the perimeter and make some plays like that and find your 6'4" receiver Trey Gross on the outside, which helps in this 3rd down call here where if you want to keep it in your quarterback's hands, get him on the move, you get an opportunity to do that. But the way they run the football, they could easily run this football to pick up the 1st down.
Bulldogs just 1 of 5 on Hornets, rather, just 1 of 5 on 3rd down today. Touch pass. Incomplete. On a one-on-one ball, looking for Gross again. And it's incomplete, 4th down.
I wonder if that ball was deflected, but again, coming out of halftime, you have the football, you get a couple 1st downs, but you're not able to get down and score any points. That's kind of been the story in the first half for Delaware State, the inability to keep the chains moving there. They had a 3rd and 5 opportunity to get it, and ball knocked down, and now you got to punt the football. But at least you changed field position if you're Delaware State and force South Carolina State to go to full field.
Romo Martinez had 2 bombs over 50 yards, but when he tried the directional kick, it didn't work as well. Play clock might have run out here.
Delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Gives the big punter from Banning, California, a little more space.
He probably likes that. Well, he's been hitting it.
Runs up the rugby-style kick, fielded at the 12-yard line by Nick. And he's ahead to the 14. Well, South Carolina State uses a bevy of tailbacks and got him going in the first half.
Yeah, Kidra Flowers averaged in the first half 5.6 yards a carry in the first half was the bell cap for him, and had a bunch of big runs that were ended up coming back for him. But Flowers has been key for him here in the first half. He's able to punch this football in here early in the first half.
Sharing time with Alex James today. See the 2 touchdowns they have on the season. James scored in the first game. Flowers scored in this one. And here's James, who initially was given credit for a touchdown, was taken off the board. His knee was down at the 3-yard line, and instead, South Carolina State had to kick a field goal.
And I think that's one we got to kind of circle as this game goes on and wonder if they were able to get a touchdown there, how that affects this ball game, because we talked about it coming off. That's only a 1-point difference now with them kicking a field goal as opposed to scoring a touchdown. Does that come back to haunt them later on?
James up near the 19-yard line. It'll be 3rd and short. Got to give defensive coordinator for Delaware State, Leandre Kramer, some credit for his bend, don't break defense. Certainly has kept the Hornets in this one.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's a good call, because they could easily be down by a lot more. Started the ball game on a 16-play drive, and they got nothing from it. Big goal line stand right before halftime. So this defense has came on the road and been ready to play.
On 3rd and 5, we'll see if Fields airs it out. Fields, middle of the field, and it's a laser for a first down up near the 40-yard line to Shaq Davis.
Unbelievable patience in the pocket from Corey Fields. Stands in there real strong. Look, it doesn't get panicky and just puts it on his receiver out in front. And look at that football. Nice hands catch by Shaq Davis, and he does a good job of running after the catch. But this is a well-thrown football and executed play for South Carolina State on 3rd and 5.
20-yard completion. Now James up to the 42-yard line for a couple. South Carolina State lost to Alabama A&M a couple weeks ago, 31-7. First game they played in 15 months. Delaware State came from behind to beat Howard. Each of these teams will play a few more games. Bulldogs have 2 more scheduled after today, and Hornets will play 3 more. They'll play each other in a few weeks. James again for a couple. It'll be 3rd down.
So Priest Haynes, number 40 for South Carolina State, a tight end who Coach Pugh said they wanted to develop more during the spring. A guy who can block on the edge, but also give him something down the field, and they try to run to him there on that stretch zone play. South Carolina State picks up a couple of yards, but good job with Delaware State holding them to not much.
On 3rd down, dumps it off out of the backfield. At midfield, it should be enough for a first. It's an open field catch made by LeBron Morris. First touch of the day for the 5th-year senior.
Nice call here on 3rd down. Get those defensive end rushing upfield. You got really one defender to make miss and gets thumped a little bit there by Kamari Jackson, but still is able to pick up the 1st down. And you mentioned another back that steps into the game here. LeBron Morris, 5'10", 185, 5th-year senior from Decatur, Georgia.
Shockley country.
Absolutely.
Fields steps up, has nothing down the field and might lose a yard. A flag does come in.
Personal foul, face mask, defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic 1st down.
It's a tough break there on a play where you cause a negative play. Instead, it's a 15-yard pickup.
And tell you, that's kind of been the only thing that's really been a hindrance for this Delaware State defense and team in general. All these big penalties they give up in crucial situations. We saw them in the first half with the running into the punter. Then you had a pass interference. They gave him another 15 yards here. You get a face mask call. I know it's tough to stay away from those face masks when you're trying to make a tackle, but those are big plays in the game that gives South Carolina State a lot of momentum.
6 penalties now on Delaware State. And it's Jay Morris on his first carry, and he lost the football. Bulldogs dive on it. It's Chris Simon, the right tackle, that was able to get it.
Ruling on the field as the player was down by contact before the ball coming out. 2nd down.
He was thumped, Taylor. When I mean thumped, that's why that football came out. Somebody brought the hat to the party, and he let that football go. But lucky enough for South Carolina State, they were able to jump on it. Well, what a collision he had inside the hole there. Wasn't able to hold on to it.
Bulldogs did this to start the first half on a drive that lasted 7 minutes, and this one's approaching that mark. 2nd and 7, incomplete, and more laundry on the field. A couple of flags.
Yeah, that's in the offensive line territory there. You wonder they got somebody downfield or caught a holding, because that came from a couple different areas.
Personal foul, shot block, offense number 77 and 72. 15-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
That's usually in the mode of you got a guy engaged and somebody else comes and hits him low, and that is not a legal play. You see it's on your left side here, and you see the left tackle here. He's engaged with the guard, and he goes low on the defender. They're going to call that chop block every single time.
I can hear your buddy, Mr. Stinchcomb, yelling at the officials from here. Down the field, and it's intercepted. Jawayne Granger stepped in front of that football.
Media timeout.
And Corey Fields turns it over.
Underthrown football here. It was underthrown and thrown to the inside. This has to be thrown outside, and it allows the defender to come back and make a play on it. But you see, if he throws that football outside and higher, he gives his receiver Shaq Davis a chance, but never has a chance.
Granger, one of the best players on the Hornets team, gets them the football back 7 minutes into the third quarter. I tell you what, Delaware State has dodged a couple of bullets in this game. A 7-minute drive by South Carolina State to start the first and the third quarter yield no points. And here are the Hornets back on the field with Jared Lewis, their catch-all quarterback, keeping the football himself. Granger forcing that interception. DJ Shockley is giving the Hornets new life.
Yeah, I mean, it's Delaware State team has been very opportunistic in this ball game, and you mentioned it. They've been bend, and they just have not broke yet, and they've had their opportunities. Can their offense find a way to get some first downs and go score some points, because their defense is playing a well of a game?
2nd and 7, as just throw it into the dirt at the feet of Bertrand Hudon. 3rd and 7.
And those are just lost plays there. You got a chance for a screen to get out and pick up positive yards, and you're not able to give him the football. Not sure if he didn't have a good angle to throw it to him, but throwing it in the dirt, now you have a 3rd and long situation. See if South Carolina State pins their ears back and comes after Jared Lewis here.
Lewis on 3rd and 7, wants to take off, instead throws middle of the field right near the first down marker to Miles Beverly. The tight end with his first catch of the game, senior from Ypsilanti, Michigan. And it is enough for a first down.
He climbed, and then finally found his tight end, seen over the football, almost like a check down. He wanted to take off, but did a good job of keeping his eyes downfield.
Throw to the sideline. And Trey Gross stays on his feet inbounds to the 40-yard line.
Bringing a corner cat, which is called there, just bringing the blitz in the corner off the edge to try to force contain. And a nice job of Jared Lewis of finding him, replacing it with the football, and another positive yardage here. They moved the football, but can they sustain it throughout the rest of this drive?
Well, you said it, Shock, on the 3rd and 7. Lewis using his legs, bringing that linebacker up. See if he keeps using those feet here. He got rid of the ball at the last minute. That's a lateral. It's going to lose a ton of yardage back to Beverly. Lewis should have held on to that one.
Yeah, there's sometimes where your athleticism gets the best of you.
On the field was a backwards pass, recovered by the offense. Second down.
He just made a really good play as he climbed in the pocket and he found his tight end. But here's one of the plays where if it's not there, you just eat it. Don't try to do too much here. This is trying to do too much with the football. And you throw it back. Could have been a disaster for Delaware State if South Carolina State was able to scoop that football up. Sometimes you just got to eat it and take the sack.
Shockey would have picked up a yard if he just went down. Instead, they lose 7. A timeout on the field. Delaware State calling timeout with 5:57 to go in the third quarter. Bulldogs clinging to a 1-point lead.
The Bacon Double Stack is back in the biggie bag for just $5, only at Wendy's.
A fighter, and a dreamer, and full-time making ends meter. Early riser with a nudge. High school struggler, and now college achiever surrounded by believers. Quick learner and little timer. But I'll make the time. And with my degree, I will give of my time. What's your and?
March 27th, 2 weeks from today, Delaware State and Howard, the rematch Hornets won the first meeting a couple weeks ago, 17-10. You can catch that live on the ESPN app at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. DJ Shockley, you played LSU twice in the same season. Did you save anything for the championship game that year?
Oh, no, you don't save anything games like that. You got to find a way to just come up with new stuff because those teams are too good. I'm sure they're not holding back in this game either. You come into it thinking you can hold on to stuff, but when it gets crunch time like it is now, you got to bring out all your weapons.
2nd and 17 on a design run by offensive coordinator Steve Azanesi. And it'll be 3rd and manageable. The reason I asked you that is because head coach Rod Milstead said he might hold a few things for the rematch against South Carolina State a few weeks from now.
Well, if this game continues along the way it's going, and it's a close ball game, and they get down in the red zone, and they need one of their big-time plays, I guarantee you he's going to go into that bag and pull out something that he wants to save if it comes up with winning the ball game.
3rd and 14. Trying to get out of there, and he can't. Sacked. Another big loss on the play, and it's Shaheem Halterwanger again.
Yeah, nice job of just continuing on the motor to continue to fight. He comes all the way from that top side on the right edge, and he continues to run down Jerry Lewis and comes up with a big play there on 3rd down, 3rd and 7. And instead of climbing up in that pocket, he tries to go outside and create something. And nice job by Shaheem there to get that sack and get him off the field.
Romo Martinez with another punt. It's another cannon back to the 25-yard line. And out of bounds near the 32. Another big sack by Halterwanger. South Carolina State up 1 with the ball. Congratulations to Norfolk State, beating Morgan State today 71-63, punching their ticket to the NCAA tournament, which will begin on Thursday. I love those celebrations, DJ. Nothing better than winning your conference tournament and getting to go to the dance.
Yeah, getting to go to the dance, getting to play in the big game and play against, really good competition where everybody's watching. That's what you play the season for. So give kudos to all those kids for doing the right things and staying safe and now they get an opportunity to go play in the big dance.
Corey Fields back at quarterback with a 10-9 lead, and Fields is out of bounds near the 26-yard line. There was a block in the back on that punt, which is why the Bulldogs snapped that one from inside the 20. You mentioned staying safe. Heartbroken for North Carolina A&T. Had a great regular season in the MEAC and had a positive COVID case that ended their chances of getting to the tournament. Of course, you've seen some other teams like Virginia, Duke, and Kansas go through that too. Hope everybody's able to stay safe in the tournament starting next week. 2nd and 3. Somehow, Alex James gets through the initial pursuit and slips through there.
I was thinking the same thing, Taylor. He's got some Vaseline on his arms or something. Like 2 or 3 guys had him dead to rights in the hole, and he finds a way to sliver his way through there and pick up a couple positive yards. And this is the first play from the drive. When you pick up positive yards, run a little speed option to the left side, and Fields does a good job of finding a little alley and picking up yards.
And gets the first down. Fields pumps, throws it deep. And it's Granger who gets a hand on it again. Had the interception on the last drive.
This is played probably as good as you can play it here. They try to go double move on the outside, and Granger has one hand on him and uses that offhand to deflect that football away. Doesn't get handsy with the receiver. That is staying connected to the receiver there and does a great job of just knocking that football away. That's an outstanding play from Juwan Granger.
(10-9) was the score at the half. Still the score with 3:12 here to go in the third quarter. Fields. Backside screen, and there's a face mask that comes in. This is an easy call on Isaiah Williams.
Yeah, you just hate that because they were really swarming to the football, had him corralled, and Isaiah gets a handful of that face mask. Going to be another 15-yard penalty
Personal
on
foul,
Delaware State defense.
face mask, defense, number 90. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
That should be 7 for 72 yards.
Well, you see coming right in there now and grabs it and holds on to it. And for Delaware State, that's their 7th penalty now. It's adding up for 72 yards for Delaware State now in the game.
Bulldogs first and 10 from the 44.
Morris moving in the backfield, gets the handoff. Inside Delaware State territory. Check that, make that Ja'Cory Benson, a junior from Seneca, South Carolina, the 4th different tailback we've seen for South Carolina State today.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago versus Alabama A&M, we talked about it early in the ball game. They had 5 different running backs that ran the football, and today, through 3 quarters, you got 4 different backs who have had a chance to tote the rock today.
It's enough for a first down. Benson, plenty of room to run, running downhill near the 36-yard line.
Yeah, give that offensive line a lot of credit, too. They did a good job of staying on their blocks and getting to that second level. You're going to see a hat on a hat as they get up to that linebacker. Look, there's a hat on each defender. The first guy that gets to him is the safety. Nice job of blocking up front from an offensive line and perimeter guys to allow Benson to get up to that second and third level.
Boy, the Bulldogs are dominating every aspect of this game except the scoreboard. Fields, end zone, over the head of his intended target, Rodriguez Thomas, 3rd and 1.
That's usually the spot on the field where you take a shot. 2nd and 1, near midfield, but he had double coverage, so Delaware State knew exactly where he wanted to go with that football. But I thought he did a good job of climbing up in the pocket and throwing and giving himself a chance and not underthrowing it like he did the previous drive to Granger where he was able to get the interception.
Alex James back in on a 3rd and 1. And a little extra effort as he follows DePrince Haynes into the hole. See where he's marked here. It's 4th down.
This is a play that Anquan Kinsey probably wants back. He had him dead to rights in the hole, but number 40 right there in the middle of your screen is playing with that cast on, and that's probably why he wasn't able to get a grip on him, but he still had enough of them where he weren't able to get the first down.
Fields keeps it himself.
I don't think he got it.
I don't know.
I don't think the power moved at all.
First down, Delaware State. Boy, how about Leandre Kramer's defense finding the way to get off the field, giving up so many yards between the 20s, but they're not giving up many points, that's for sure.
Yeah, give the defensive line for Delaware State a lot of credit. They have won the line of scrimmage today. So much penetration up front, and not even on a 4th and 1 with a QB sneak was Corey Fields able to get the first down. Delaware State's defense has kept him in this ball game for 3 quarters.
Back come the Hornets, and it's Bertrand Houdon who gets past the 45 up to the 46. It'll be 2nd and 1.
I just feel like Bertrand Houdon is just like a battering ram. He just stays behind his shoulder pads and he just takes on 2-3 guys, and the first guy never usually takes him down. He takes him for a ride for another couple yards after contact.
It's got some Mike Allstott in him.
Yeah.
First down run into South Carolina State territory.
running with both hands on the ball and just when his shoulder pads are full force ahead. I mean, why would you not keep feeding Hula in a position like this?
Coach Azanesi calling his number.
9 carries for 60 yards in the ball game right now.
And a third straight carry. And just shoving defenders, running downhill at the 38-yard line as the third quarter comes to an end. Delaware State suddenly with some momentum after dodging a couple of Bulldogs punches in the third quarter and giving up no points. Still 10-9 in this March MEAC battle in Orangeburg, South Carolina.
Buck Deal. Feed your happy.
All right, now look at this. South Carolina State dominating time of possession, total plays, and total yards. But DJ Shockley, they're not dominating the top statistic, and that's the one that matters most, clinging to a 1-point lead.
Yeah, it's been going back to what you mentioned earlier in the ball game. They just have not been able to score once they get near the red zone. There's a penalty, there's a turnover, there's something that keeps them out of the end zone.
This is Jared Lewis keeping it himself on a 2nd and 2, and he gets down near the 37-yard line.
And this is the down that's really hurt Delaware State in this ball game. 2 of 8 on third down in this game. Whether it's been third and long, third and short, they have not been able to pick up first downs to keep drives going. You're not able to pick up a 3rd and 1 here. That is demoralizing your Delaware State.
Well, this is the guy you want to have the football. Bertrand Houdon has been sensational in the second half of this game. He had 6 carries for 45 yards in the third quarter alone, and he gets the first down there.
Yeah, this is the guy you want the ball in your hands right now. I think until he is salivating at the mouth, you continue to feed him because he has been the guy that's really been a bell cow for you today.
Sophomore from Quebec. Gets it again, no place to really go, but just running into somebody, he picks up a couple of yards. And he's down at the 31-yard line.
And the second part about this is they're running all this zone read stuff, and if the quarterback, Jared Lewis, pulls it one time, he's going to be out the gate. That particular time, if he pulls it, he is around the corner because everybody collapsed in on Bertrand Houdon.
Tosses it this time. Bouncing off of defenders is Michael Chris Ike, but he might have lost a yard on the play. It'll be third down.
Yeah, really great job of pursuing for South Carolina State's defense. They got really good penetration, played the option really well, had it played quarterback and pitch man, and then they allowed the troops to come home and get the big stop here. But a big third down, this ball's got to be thrown and see if Jared Lewis can find a way to get him a completion.
Lewis, 3rd and 10, wants to take off and will. And he's got a first down near the 15.
Exactly what you need to hear. Wanted to throw the football, it wasn't there. Got off his first progression, and then now it's backyard football. Find a way to get a first down, makes a guy miss, use the spin move, and Jared Lewis comes up with a huge conversion here on 3rd and 10 to keep this drive going. And you can't ask more of your quarterback here, giving up his body, trying to pick up a big first down and doesn't.
Chris Ike will get a little bit there on first down. As the Hornets threaten to take the lead. Remember, they have lost 33 straight road contests. Have not won on the road since beating Norfolk State in 2014. You see Bertrand Houdon trying to change that. An injured player on the field. Credit to Coach Milstead for going north of the border, DJ, to find 4 Canadians, including this man, to help him out.
Yeah, and they have all been contributing and been a big factor so far in their first 2 ball games. You talked about Delaware State not getting wins. South Carolina State hasn't lost back-to-back games and just once in the last 19 years.
Not much doing there. So it'll be 3rd and 7 or 8 for Jared Lewis, sophomore from Baltimore, Maryland.
If you're South Carolina State, you got to have somebody with eyes on the quarterback. Somebody has to be a spy to Jared Lewis because he's hurt you a couple times scrambling out, getting first downs.
Sprints out to the right and throws to the sideline, 4th down.
Really smart play, not trying to force anything. You know
There's
you're
no
field
foul
goal
for Jason
range.
Brandon. Player was outside the tackle box. The ball moved past the line of scrimmage.
Not trying to throw it in traffic. They had the sprint out option. They had a corner route with a hitch on the outside. South Carolina State played it really well, threw the football away. Now you give your kicker an opportunity to put you ahead here in the 4th quarter after a really pretty productive drive.
Jose Romo Martinez is 0 for 1. He missed from 40-plus in the first game. This will be inside 40, 29-yard attempt. Bad hold, and the kick is blocked. The snap from Brandon Shimko was not received well by Jake Bradell. Couldn't get it down in time, and Romo Martinez's kick is blocked, and South Carolina State holds on to the lead.
Yeah, you see here, look at it. He's
Media timeout.
thought it was a pretty good snap and just couldn't hold on to it. And that throws off the timing of the kick, and South Carolina State survives again.
Football fans, please remember to wear your face covering at all times unless you are eating or drinking.
Each team dodging bullets. 11-19 to go. Bulldogs up 1.
You ever think Pac-Man gets tired of eating these same little dots? I can get any 3 toppings on my large pizza for just $10. Pepperoni, sausage, bacon, a $10 tastemaker, only from Pizza Hut. I think I'm about to out-pizza the Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Wake up with Hardee's. The $3 Bacon, Egg, and Cheese Burrito. Fluffy egg, crispy bacon, and melty cheese. All wrapped up in a warm tortilla. The $3 Bacon, Egg, and Cheese Burrito. Part of Hardee's 2-3 more breakfast menu. Feed your happy.
Corey Fields and South Carolina State have had no trouble moving the football today. But DJ, they've had a hard time finding the end zone or any points for that matter.
Yeah, they struggled, especially once they've gotten down into the red zone, just haven't been able to get in the end zone. That's kind of how most defenses play. They give you 20-20, but once you get inside the red zone, everything shrinks and becomes a little bit tougher.
It's got a 10-9 lead. He goes back to Kendrell Flowers, who's been quiet in the second half and doesn't get anything.
This is how they have started most of their drives, running the football, trying to stay ahead of the chains. And right now you feel like Delaware State's defense has to feel good about where they are because they have time in and time out stepped up and really been there for the challenge.
30 runs, 30 passes.
And it's an unbelievable stat that South Carolina State has been so balanced today. 30 runs and 30 passes in this ball game today.
There's run number 31, and Flowers gets around the edge. The flag does come in, though, all over the place after a 10-yard pickup. A couple of those officials trying their arm out at there, throwing those yellow flags on the ground.
Screen.
Officials have been busy today in this MEAC matchup.
There were 2 fouls on the play, 1 live ball, 1 dead ball. During the run, illegal block in the back, offense number 1. That penalty will be administered 10 yards from the spot of the foul. After the play, personal foul, late hit out of bounds, defense. A 15-yard penalty will be administered after the enforcement, 15 yards and automatic first down.
There's your block in the back there. Looks like Shaq Davis gets caught for it, and then right here at the end, you get the late hit. He is clearly 2-3 yards into the white and takes an extra hit out of bounds. Another big 15-yard penalty that hurts Delaware State. And South Carolina State was behind the chains there. It was 2nd and 11. Now they get an automatic first down and the yards.
So after all of the addition and subtraction, it gives the Bulldogs the ball at the 25.
The previous play
that's why I let you have all the math.
Now we're going to take a longer look at this.
I wonder if there was any use of the helmet when he was going out of bounds.
From the Kansas City Chiefs of the National Football League. Give a big hand to him.
Well, they'll take a look to see if there's some targeting on the play as well. Let's watch this at the end of the play.
Ooh.
Yeah, we had a helmet-to-helmet hit there.
He absolutely leads with the helmet. And it looks like he leads with the crown of the helmet as well. Maybe an end of the day there for Ahmad Bailey, number 52. Absolute forcible contact to the head and neck area and lay with the crown.
Talking to the replay officials upstairs. Try to make sure they get this right with 10:32 to go in the fourth quarter.
And it'd be unfortunate because Delaware State has a bunch of guys on that defensive side of the ball that they are missing from week one. It would be very unfortunate to lose another play on the sideline.
Hornets playing 5 games in the spring. Bulldogs playing 4. Ready for a full schedule again in the fall of 2021.
After further review, video evidence shows that the hit out of bounds by number 52 was targeting. Number 52 is disqualified from the contest.
So that's it. One less player on the Delaware State defense with Bailey being ejected. Certainly it was accidental targeting. That's one thing I've wondered, DJ, is I certainly appreciate the safety measures that have been taken in the game in the last few years, but I wonder if there's kind of like there is in college basketball or the NBA, should there be levels of targeting? That was, of course, accidental targeting, and then you can see something egregious that maybe is more worthy of an ejection.
Yeah, no doubt. I think we've seen plenty of times where the egregious ones are very obvious, and then there are times where guys are just playing hard.
Nice throw and catch across the middle to Tyrese Nick. Quarterback to quarterback. Fields to Nick. First down.
Yeah, signature throw here. Whenever he's on rhythm, I mentioned it 2 or 3 times today. When he hits that back foot and lets it rip and knows exactly where he wants to go with that football, he is as accurate as anybody throwing the football, and he's shown that today. And whenever he gets a chance to get the football into Nick's hands, they usually find a way to have a completion and have positive yards.
Up to the 40-yard line. Hitting the hole and getting about 5 yards on the play. is Ja'Cory Benson. Seen some action in the second half and has looked pretty good.
Yeah, he has. It seems like every time he's touched the football, he's picked up at least 8 to 10 yards on his runs. He's very patient, understands where the seams are in the defense, and has been really productive. A lot of different backs they have for South Carolina State, and he's come in the ball game. He's got 3 carries for 24 yards, so he's been productive.
Picks up 6 there. Taken off on what looked like a busted play, and Fields gets the first down.
Yeah, it might have been just a lead quarterback draw there. Made it look like pass, and actually Benson was the lead back that led him in the hole there. So well-designed play there for South Carolina State.
Buddy Pugh.
I'm sure they would love one of those 7-minute drives you talked about it in the first half, like they did in that first drive of the game, to put this ball game away.
Coach Pugh's had a couple of them today, but no points on either one of them. It's Benson again. This guy's got some speed, and he's down near a first down at the 38-yard line.
Yeah, he's one of those guys you give any kind of crease to, you give him any kind of lane, he's going to hit it and find some avenue. Watch how small this hole is for him to get through, and then he hits it. It just is a burst of energy coming out. You know he's fresh. They played 4 different backs today, and he's been the 4th guy, but in the second half, he's kind of had the hot hand.
Clock running underneath 8 minutes by the time Corey Fields takes this snap from center Eric Brown. Benson this time is met in the backfield and will lose yardage.
Kamari Jackson.
Kamari Jackson, yep.
Plays this really well. Watch him get upfield and then takes that inside release and just uses the speed to beat the blocker to the football. And a nice job of stopping Benson before he gets going. And we talked, he had been really productive, but Kamari Jackson uses that speed to get upfield and causes the negative yardage play.
Defensive coordinator Leandre Kramer told you, DJ, that Kamari goes too hard in practice.
Yeah. So he makes a lot of plays and is a hard worker, but sometimes they have to kind of slow him down.
2nd and 15. Fields gets out of there. Wide open space. First down, Bulldogs.
Something he doesn't do often, but when he does take off, he has the ability to make people miss. And look at, they just created a huge lane there. They just lost containment on the outside. The ends got too far afield, and it created the void, and he does a good job of just taking off and running with it. Not known as the most agile guy when he runs, but when he does pick up positive yards. Nice job by Corey Fields picking up really big yards for his offense.
22-yard gain for Fields. Near the red zone. Benson inside the red zone, down near the 15 to the 14. And clearly, Coach Pugh's offense is about the hot hand. It was James, and then it was Flowers. Now it's Benson.
But Taylor, here's the area of the field where they have struggled. They have done everything they wanted to from 20 to 20, but inside the red zone is where South Carolina State's offense has absolutely sputtered. Can they find a way to punch this football in and make this an even tougher ball game for Delaware State here as the time continues to tick down?
Another long drive for South Carolina State. 2nd and 3, and we have movement.
Yeah, you got Cameron Johnson up top, false start.
False start, offense, number 18. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Second and 80.
That's the last thing you want, Shock. You have all the momentum. Fourteenth play of the drive. It's lasted over 6 minutes on the clock.
I love the consciousness right now to run this clock all the way down. Take as much time off as possible.
2nd and 9. Flowers inside the 15 down to the 14 to make it 3rd and manageable.
Flowers on the rush, brought down by 25, Granger.
And another flag on the field. You can understand the sloppiness when it's been so long since these teams played football. Just one game in the last 15 months.
Two moving without being reset. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
It's got to be so hard, DJ, is not being able to play in any games, and then you finally get to play, which both of these teams did 2 weeks ago, and then you don't play again for 2 weeks, and then at least in the case for South Carolina State, they won't play again for 3 weeks.
Yeah, the anxiety is there for sure. You want to go out and you want to play hard. You want to play to the whistle. Both teams now with 7 penalties. Both teams over 70 yards worth of penalties in this game. And you mentioned it. You get a little taste of it, and then you got to wait a couple weeks. That's not usually how it goes for these, young student athletes, and especially when you hadn't played in 15 months like you mentioned.
2nd and 14. Big collision with Thomas and Peeler. And Peeler wins the battle, 3rd and 14.
I'm not sure if Peeler actually looks at this football. He probably picks this football off and goes to the house. I think he was more concerned with dislodging it from the receiver. But this ball is so far out in front. Well, that's a nice job there. It actually hit him in the chest, and nice job there of dislodging him from it. And that's his 3rd pass breakup of the ball game. He's been really active.
To the sideline, Thomas makes the catch at the 5. Davis, with the catch at the 5-yard line. How about this throw into traffic?
Unbelievable throw. In between 3 defenders, throws it up high and gives him a nice catchable ball that I call hug the ceiling. Not too high, and it's not on a rope, but it's enough air on it where his receiver can come down with it. And that was 3rd and 14 as well. Yeah. What a conversion there.
Great catch by Shaq Davis as Delaware State will call timeout.
Timeout, Delaware State.
4:15 to go in the game. The Bulldogs, after a huge 3rd down play, on the doorstep.
Straight up. What's your and?
ESPN College Football is presented by McDonald's. With DJ Shockley, I'm Taylor Zarzer. We are late in the 4th quarter, and Coach Milstead's Delaware State Hornets trail by 1. Their last road win was almost 7 years ago, spanning 33 straight losses. The Bulldogs have the football inside the Hornets' 10, marked at the 5 after a big 1st down catch by Shaquan Davis. Davis, 5 catches for 55 yards. 1st and goal, ball on the ground. And Fields jumps on it.
These are the mishaps we're talking about down in the red zone.
False start, offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat 1st down. Clock operator, please reset the game clock to 4 minutes and 15 seconds. 4:15. Thank you.
Continue to shoot themselves in the foot. Every time they get down here, they have a chance. And they've had plenty of opportunities. That was their 71st play of the ball game, which is an unbelievable number, and only have 10 points.
15 penalties total in this game for over 140 yards, 8 of which have gone on South Carolina State. And so it's a 1st and goal for the Bulldogs at the Hornets' 10. Benson trying to hit the hole, in good pursuit by the Hornets defense. It was first Olivier Muembe that slowed down Benson and caused the loss there. 2nd and goal.
Nice job of pursuing from inside out. And Oliver Muembe runs really good to the football. Doesn't come down with the play, but holds Benson up just enough so other guys can come to the party and end up getting him on the ground.
DJ, this is the 19th play of this drive.
Wow.
taken up almost 10 minutes on the game clock. See if the Bulldogs can get any points out of it. 2nd and goal, end zone, caught but out of bounds. Shaquan Davis let the big man go up and make a play, but he couldn't get a foot down.
Great throw, great catch. Had a chance here, just getting pushed a little bit too far to that sideline. You see the right foot steps on the white. Nice job, nice catch, but good job by Isaiah Guthrie to push him so far where he comes down out of bounds.
Guthrie is the one that wrapped up Benson on the previous play, and then he causes the incompletion on the next one. 3rd and goal now. Big play with 3:23 to go in the game. Fields, middle of the field in heavy traffic, and it's caught. Touchdown, Tyrese Nick.
You haven't been to him in a very long time, and this is a signature play for him. They put him in the slot, and you find a way for him to go and win. And this is in between 2 players. But watch this football. Look where this football is thrown in between 2 guys, and an unbelievable catch for Tyrese Nick to come down with it and make a huge play for his team.
Extra point is good. It's an 8-point lead with 3:19 to go. Jacques, you nailed it. Douglas and Peeler in perfect position, but a perfect throw from Fields. And the Bulldogs are up.
Bag alert, major bag alert, major bag alert, major bag.
The Bacon Double Stack is back in the biggie bag for just $5. Only at Wendy's.
Gig speed internet. It's a big deal. But if you want all your devices to tap into that speed, you need gig speed Wi-Fi. That's why Xfinity isn't stopping at gig speed internet. We're bringing you Wi-Fi speeds faster than a gig. New from Xfinity.
That's just the 2nd South Carolina State touchdown pass in the last 16 quarters. If you go back to 2019, it was a perfect ball by quarterback Corey Fields to the other quarterback, Tyrese Nick, who plays just about every position on the field. And the Hornets are down 8 with 3:18 to go. And they'll start at the 21-yard line. You called it, Shock. Just a perfect ball here.
Yeah, inside seam throw. Puts you right above that inside linebacker and right above in front of that safety, and give your guy a chance to go up and get it. And nice play by Nick coming down with it, and Fields absolute dime of a throw.
Steve Azanessi, the offensive coordinator, talking to his Hornets, who need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie this one up. The program has lost 33 in a row on the road. And we'll take another break. We'll be back in just a moment here in Orangeburg, South Carolina.
What's your and?
What do the Hornets have left? Down 8 with 3:13 to go. South Carolina State has dominated this football game statistically. They go to the ground. Thomas Bertrand Hudon, who's been their best weapon on offense, near 80 yards rushing on the day.
Eventually this ball's got to go into the hands of Jerry Lewis. Bertrand Hudon's been good, but you got to throw the football.
First down. Staying on his feet to the 36-yard line, but like you said, the clock is not there for him. He'll run again when they move the chains. Hornets have 2 timeouts left.
I'm sure South Carolina State's like, sure, keep running. We'll give you these 4 or 5 yards, but you're going to keep draining this clock.
$64 yards to go. A little tunnel screen, that's not going to do much. Roman Davis makes his first catch of the game, but make that Bizette Woodley rather, and Woodley only gets a yard or 2. Clock continuing to run.
Love the ability of Shaheem Haltenwanger, number 96, the defensive lineman, to retrace his steps from the D line spot and come down the line and make that play.
Durant and also Barr on the tackle.
Another bubble. That's over the head of Bertrand Hudon.
Incomplete pass.
3rd and 9.
Well, they had an opportunity. They tried the throwback screen to Bertrand Hudon. Had a couple of blockers out there, but it's all predicated on an accurate throw and giving your guy a chance. Last 3rd and long they had, Jared Lewis took off and picked up a big first down with his legs.
Lewis, and he's down at the 37-yard line, upended there by Davis.
DJ Davis is the guy who's stepping in for Andre Brown, who's out for surgery, but he is a guy there compared to Darius Leonard, as what Buddy Pugh said, who obviously is a big-time player for South Carolina State and now plays for the Colts. But he was compared to him. He made a big play there, big 4th down here. Might be the ball game.
Very well could be on a 4th and 9. To the sideline, it's caught. Trey Gross, first down, Hornets.
Nice job standing in there was Jared Lewis. Had a guy barreling down on him. Had a comeback route to the outside by Trey Gross. And watch him standing there and just deliver this football. And takes a hit, but throws an accurate football to the sideline, and Gross catches it and then gets out of bounds. Nice conversion there to keep this game and keep it alive for Delaware State.
Still have their 2 timeouts. Lewis, better get rid of it. He does. Staying in bounds, but then stepping on the marker is Mehdi. It'll be 2nd down with 1:05 left.
Again, he got pressure in his face and was able to climb in the pocket and find his outlet, which was the crossing route. And now late in this ball game, Jared Lewis is finding some confidence throwing the football and has his eyes downfield and has his team driving.
Second and 4. Somehow it's caught inside the 40, down inside the 30. That's Mehdi again. Close to an interception. Instead, it's a big game.
Yeah, you're right. He tried to go for the pick and missed. And nice job of hanging on to it and then finding something after the catch. Nice job by Mehdi there.
Simmons goes for the pick. Instead, it's an 18-yard completion. Lewis is in trouble. He gets rid of it, but let's see if they call intentional grounding here. He was still in the pocket.
Brad, number 81 is in the area.
Ooh, that's close. If he was outside the box, so I don't think he even got back to the line of scrimmage, but how close was the receiver here? It's definitely not outside the box, and they're saying he's close to it.
Trey Gross down the field, some 15, 20 yards away from the ball, but they say he was in the area. Stops the clock with 40 seconds.
Big time break for Delaware State.
30 yards to go for the Hornets. 2 timeouts. South Carolina State's offsides. It's a free play to the end zone, incomplete to Gross. But again, it'll be 5 yards for the Hornets.
Offsides, defense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Love it, taking a shot. You knew they were offsides. Give yourself a chance down the field, but I think it's Durant here. Durant missed it. He did enough to kind of lose the concentration of Trey Gross there as he had a chance for it in the end zone, but nonetheless, 35 seconds and still got a couple timeouts.
Lewis throws this one away. It's 3rd down.
Pass is intended for number 12, Mines.
DJ, what do you like here on a 3rd and 5? You do have 2 timeouts left, so do you use Lewis's legs?
I think you get him on the move, because even on that particular play where he ended up getting outside the pocket, I thought he had a chance to probably pick it up with his legs running. So give him a run-pass option And he's done pretty well making a good decision where he's run it or throw it here.
Lewis is in trouble, and he just spikes it into the ground.
With the sack, 94, Delaware.
Let's see if they call this an incompletion or intentional grounding. See if they talk about it. Forward progress is stopped, so it is a sack.
Yeah.
And that'll be Darryl Brown who gets it. Gets fourth down. And timeout, Hornets.
That is our second team timeout of the half. Please reset the game clock to 22 seconds. 22.
It's been the MO for South Carolina State here at the end,
Thank you.
and they have blitzed at least 5 or 6 guys every single play to put the pressure on Jared Lewis to get the football out of his hands. And that time he got caught in between there and ended up having to take the sack. But South Carolina State is not sitting back, allowing Jared Lewis to survey the field.
Both of these teams have gone through so much adversity on and off the field in the last year. Just to be able to play in a football game right now is certainly a blessing. 2 weeks from today, Delaware State will play Howard again. That'll be on the ESPN app at 1 Eastern time. Delaware State won the first one 17-10. South Carolina State has not won a football game in 16 months. Only played one. Trying to get the win here today. It's 4th and 15 for the Hornets. Need to get to the Bulldogs 20. Lewis gets rid of it. Oh, and it's dropped inside the 20. It'll be a turnover on downs, and South Carolina State will win it.
And he had him, too. This is what I'm talking about, getting outside. He's made a good decision. He puts this football right in the chest. And it's dropped. And it would have been a clear first down. And you can see Coach Milstead over there looking right there and had a front row seat for it. And South Carolina State's going to get their first win of this spring season.
It's Quan Akali, DJ, the first target he's had today, and he can't make the catch. And there's Corey Fields. He's going to get the win today. 162 yards passing, 34 yards rushing, none bigger than his last throw, the touchdown pass to his good buddy Tyrese Nick. Well, Shock, that was a lot of fun, my friend. MEAC football in March. South Carolina State gets the win over the Hornets 17-9. Thanks to our entire crew. Congratulations to Buddy Pugh on another victory, the 134th of his terrific career. Bulldogs will be back in action in 3 weeks when they play Alabama State on April the 3rd. Delaware State will play Howard again in 2 weeks at 1 Eastern time on the ESPN app. For DJ Shockley and our entire crew, I'm Taylor Zarzer. South Carolina State beats Delaware State today, 17-9 in Orangeburg.